And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Look at us. Look at me. Excuse me. Look at me alone in my office. One of the last few episodes you'll see in this office, because I am, in fact, moving to a smaller place that costs way more, but also I get amenities. Let me just spout my entire address while I'm at it. Okay, let's. We got a lot of crap to get to, so let's just go ahead and get started. I can still taste the dinner I was eating nigh upon 20 minutes ago. All right, let's hop onto this. The first story comes from Variety. It's about Nielsen. The Nielsen ratings, they are facing backlash. Nielsen ratings are the ratings that say, hey, this many people were watching, Holy Moly on Thursday night, July 16th, 2020. 2 million people were watching. Ratings are important to know how many people are watching shows. And we'll get to ratings in a second for a streaming platform, the most popular streaming platform that never reveals things unless they're huge. So, this is written by Brian Steinberg over there, Variety. Despite a pandemic that has forced many Americans to shelter at home, Nielsen will, after all, follow through on its plans to chase TV viewers in bars, hotels, and offices. After meeting with a storm of criticism from TV networks, Nielsen is expected to reverse its decision to delay the inclusion of so-called out-of-home viewers in its tabulation of national TV ratings, a sign of just how important counting that audience is to some of the nation's biggest traditional media companies. I think this is, depending on who asked about this, maybe, who knows, maybe it's Viacom, CBS, and Disney and the Fox Broadcasting Company asking Nielsen, hey, we got to get these numbers up. People aren't watching traditional TV anymore, and these shows are getting 2 million views. And then, in the live plus 3-day viewings, which includes, Hulu and DVRs and stuff, and then live plus 7 days, we're including those numbers now. The companies are. I'm still the companies in this situation. But does that mean that, if 5 million people in total or 8 million people in total have watched the show or the movie, does that mean that the day one viewers, it doesn't matter anymore? So Nielsen had held conversations Friday with several this is from last week, senior ad sales executives at top TV outlets. According to 6 people familiar with the matter, the media measurement giant has informed those networks and others it now intends to count out-of-home viewers during the fall season as it had originally planned. Why do they need to apologize? A measurement firm unveiled its decision later this week without informing the networks in advance, these people said. After hearing the comments from networks, there's still a typo in here, quote, it became clear that we had misunderstood the extent to which upfront deals had already been agreed to using out-of-home metrics. So again, networks are probably using out-of-home networks. Oh, there's a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air actor that passed away. Galen Gorg, 55. Who's that? It's a woman. She was in RoboCop 2. I should stop reading things that just happened. But again, my assumption is that they want to use these metrics for out-of-home viewers at hotels and bars and all other manners of viewing outside the home in order to count for traditional viewers. But I don't understand. I think for bars, it's going to be like if there's a football game on and the bar has, a cable hookup to 7 different televisions and 6 of the TVs are on that game. Does it still count? Oh, hey, look, the companies I named, Viacom, CBS, NBCUniversal, Fox Corp, Warner Media, and Walt Disney, they all were a part of the discussion. The plan to bring a tabulation of people watching TV outside their homes for the next TV season was announced at the start of the last TV season. There's a lot of typos in this, and I can't believe this has gone up. But also, it's Variety, so I can believe it. It sounds like a stick-it to them. So yeah, so this has been planned since last fall. This is a big move for counting viewers. interesting. I thought it was interesting to me. But we're going to continue on with the whatchamacallits, the broadcast news. Going on to the Wrap. This comes from the Wrap, written by Tim Basinger. No relation to Kim Basinger. It's Basinger is spelled different. It's spelled the way it sounds, Basinger, but Kim Basinger is spelled completely different. Any Hoosers, CBS commits 25% of script development budget to BIPOC-led TV projects. They're going to, network is going to have all of the writers' rooms staffed by at least 40% BIPOC writers. So the headline, let's go with the headline first. CBS is going to, the shows that it's making, it's going to dedicate a quarter of that. I was going to say a fifth, a quarter to people of color. I was going to say people of color because I don't like BIPOC. They say people of color. Browns. The Browns. Blacks, indigenous, and people of color, BIPOC. Additionally, CBS will mandate that its writers' rooms each reach a minimum of 40% BIPOC representation by 2021 and 2022. The threshold will increase to 50% by 2023, 2022, 2023. Wow. 6 series this coming season are expected to reach that minimum threshold. Amazing. This is good. On this week's episode of News Time, I made a joke about Batwoman. About the producers and the creators over there. After Ruby Rose left, they hired a black woman to play the new Batwoman, and she's gay. And I think that doing something like that is a knee-jerk reaction. However, I didn't say it was bad. I'm just saying it's a knee-jerk reaction. It's just like, what's hot right now? Black women, they need to be hired. Damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation. But coming up for this is building towards something. This is CBS looking at what they have and then going, okay, we need to take the proper steps. Now, instead of just hiring people left and right, they're saying, hey, we're going to need you to build towards this. Shows like SWAT, shows like All Rise. There's an Equalizer reboot coming, and then Bob Hart's Abishola, which is a show I watch. The Neighborhood, which I was just watching the Family Feud that Cedric the Entertainer and the cast of the Neighborhood were playing against Wayne Brady and his weird friends. And it sounds like I'm tagging him, but I'm not. He's weird friends. He's friends with his ex-wife, and his ex-wife's boyfriend is there. It's weird. Anyways, I think it's a good plan. CBS used to be like completely white. I would say before Superior Donuts, which was a show starring Jermaine Fowler and a bunch of other people. The guy from Taxi. That's so mean. I just said the guy from Taxi as if I'm the guy from Taxi. You know his name. It was what's his name? Judd Hirsch. Jermaine Fowler, a bunch of other funny people. But before that, prior to that show, there weren't any people of color led shows, and you could tell, there's probably no people of color writing on the shows. So to go, and that was in like 2000. When how old is the website? 7 years. So it's probably 2016. So that's probably 4 years ago. The show's been off for a couple of years. So in order doing that, the most watched broadcast network on television in order for them to do that, and they're white, and most of their viewers come from Middle America, and they're white. But now you're bringing in the other races. This is great. Good for CBS. Now, CBS also did something else. This comes from the Hollywood Reporter, written by Leslie Goldberg. CBS started a new partnership with the NAACP. It's a sprawling content partnership deal. The multiple-year pact includes scripted, unscripted, and documentary programming for broadcast, cable, and streaming platforms. This is just even mentioning streaming. This is going to be huge for CBS All Access and whatever that turns into Viacom All Access. I do hope they keep the name CBS All Access whenever it becomes Viacom streaming platform. I think CBS All Access is a really good because CBS owns Showtime, and then they own Viacom stuff, or Viacom owns them. Who knows? But I think CBS is synonymous. Like if you say HBO Max, Cartoon Network stuff is on there, and TBS stuff is on there, and TNT stuff is on there, along with the HBO stuff, along with Max Originals. So All Access, I think it's great. As part of a new multiple-year agreement, CBS Studios, TV Studios, and the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People will team to develop and produce scripted, unscripted, and documentary content for linear and streaming platforms. Under the deal, creative leaders from CBS TV Studios will work with the civil rights group to establish a dedicated team of executives and an infrastructure to acquire, develop, and produce programming. The goal will be to produce premium content while also expanding the number of diverse voices telling inclusive stories that increase the visibility and impact of Black artists. Okay, so all that being said, I don't want this to every project be about race, just improving the race. I want my favorite sitcom of all time, Happy Endings. At work, I'm watching How I Met Your Mother. Friends. I would love to see shows like that, but with people of color. It doesn't have to be a whole race thing, because their shows weren't all about race. Like Happy Endings, there's one episode where Damon Wayans Jr.'s character wants to get away from his white friends because he needs to hang out with some Black people sometimes. I don't think it has to be. I hope it's not all about. I hope they don't just get even a show like Bob Hart's Abishola, where you think it's going to be an entire show of this fat white guy is chasing after this African woman and they can't be together. No, after like 3 episodes they start dating, maybe like 7. After a couple episodes they start dating, and it becomes this genuine, heartfelt, funny show just about people from 2 different worlds and they're dating, and it's funny. I truly enjoy that show. I just want people to watch it. So get CBS All Access. The first couple episodes are a little shaky, but then you'll love it. Included in the deal is a commitment to not only develop for CBS-owned platforms, but also to third-party platforms, meaning that the partnership will be supplied to other suppliers like Netflix, other buyers like Netflix and Amazon. So that's great. Wow, that's amazing. That sounds like I'm mocking it, but I'm not. CBS has truly done a real turnaround in the past couple of years. I mean, even shows like Magnum PI, I believe what's his name, Hernandez is Magnum PI. He's a Latino man. Jay Hernandez. Look at me. God, I'm so fast with this. I've never seen a second of the new Magnum PI, but I know that his name was Jay Hernandez. That show, Hawaii Five-0. I mean, everybody. I mean, I understand there were some issues with Hawaii Five-0, but everything has they've really changed. They've really changed everything. And I'm very proud of CBS. I would love to see where this is going for the network, and obviously is going into the right place because, I mean, inking a deal with NAACP. That's just amazing. Now, sometimes you think, why not? And I know I've been ignorant to this, and I've brought up this idea to a writer for a TV show that is on HBO Max. I think it's on another streaming network too, but now it's on HBO Max. I brought up this idea. No. Excuse me. This is for somebody who just sold a movie to Netflix. Any Hoosers. I've been talking to people. I brought this idea up of a colorblind hiring for writers' rooms. And, for years I thought that would be a good idea because that's what Samantha Bee did for Full Frontal. I think I even mentioned this in the past couple of weeks. But the thing is, you can't do that for everybody because I read something just this week on the New York Times written by Maya Phillips. It's called Hamilton, The Simpsons, and the Problem with Colorblind Casting. So now you think, shows like Hamilton, you just cast people and they all happen to be brown people. They all happen to be brown. The conceit of the show of Hamilton was to be for it to be brown people telling the story of white people. It's but she says importantly, though egalitarian in theory, colorblind casting in practice is more often used to exclude performers of color. It's a high-minded sounding concept that producers and creators use to free themselves of any social responsibility they may feel toward representing a diverse set of performers. And eventually, you know, she gets down to it. Mickey Rooney's Asian character in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Historically racist. Nothing compared to a lot of the things that have been canceled in the past couple of weeks. Alec Guinness's Arab Prince in the Lawrence of Arabia. Let's see. Laurence Olivier in blackface as Othello. I can see that in my mind too. It's so crazy. God, I can see Laurence Olivier in my head as Othello. It's insane. Go watch this stuff. In the past decade alone, Natalie Portman, Emma Stone, Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson thinks she can play everybody. She can play a trans person. She can play an Asian. She can play... And people still love her. And she does not back down from what she says. So it's interesting. I just thought this was a good thing to go along with the CBS NAACP thing. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, you can't... You colorblind casting, it does... Sometimes people just use it as a way to get out of hiring the people who are actually colored. That might be the title of this episode. Listen, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to let's do it. And we're back. We're back to the show. What is this called? The Constitutionals? Episode 166? 167? Maybe one of those. When I start the show, I try to say the episode title. I try to say the episode number, and I never do because I don't know it. I think I've said it maybe out of 167 episodes this is. I've said it maybe 25 times. Go back and count. This is episode 167. Go back and count. We'll see what happens. All right. This is coming to the next thing we're talking about. This comes from the Wrap again. I never read the Wrap anymore because it's all it is freaking ads now. Sign up for the Wrap Pro. Sign up for the Wrap Pro. I don't want to do that. Written by Brian Welk. All the viewership numbers Netflix just revealed, from Space Force to Da 5 Bloods. Now, this is a very important thing because Netflix never reveals numbers, and I should start the timer right now. Netflix never reveals the numbers for their movies or shows unless it is to prove that, hey, this show and this movie did really super duper well. I think then so they do it for like shows like No, not even Stranger Things was announced. I just rubbed my nose like a Coke addict. I've never done Coke in my life. I thought there was a bug on my nose though. I don't know why there would be. I thought there was a bug on my nose. So I think for Nielsen revealed the Stranger Things. Nielsen at the top of the show revealed the numbers for Stranger Things, and those weren't official, but they're more or less close. And let's see, I don't know. I remember there was one time Netflix like bought out billboards to say they knew exactly how many people watched a certain rom-com like Love Actually. I don't think it was Love Actually, but it was like Love Actually like 13 times in 1 week. And stuff like that. It's so weird. Anyway, Spike Lee's Da 5 Bloods racked up 27 million views since the movie debuted in June, while Space Force, the Steve Carell comedy, had seen 40 million people in the first month when it's on Netflix. Mindy Kaling's also hit the 40. Mindy Kaling's Never Have I Ever also hit 40 million households in the first month. The Wrong Missy had 59 million people in its first 28 days. Jesus. The Wrong Missy, a movie that 1,000% would have failed in the theaters, did gangbusters for Netflix. And that is why Adam Sandler continues to have, guaranteed, at the end of this, so the first contract he had with Netflix was like 4 movies. This next contract is 4 movies. Guarantee you'll have another contract. I doubt. I'm not saying that we'll never see an Adam Sandler produced movie in the theaters. I'm just saying that I wouldn't be surprised if the first thing they landed on was Netflix, as opposed to being able to go see it in theaters. Floor is Lava and Too Hot to Handle had 37 and 51 million viewers, respectively, in their first month. Wow. That's crazy. And then, of course, anything under the Black Lives Matter collection was boosted. I have a thing about these collections on Spotify, YouTube Music, Netflix, Amazon, like all these things that are under the Black Lives Matter collections. I don't like it. I'm coming here to say, hey, I don't like it. I understand the good nature behind it and the goodwill behind it, but it also seems like a little bit of capitalization on the movement. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I don't like it. That's like if there was another, like if there were more tragedies or like if there was a like if there was a giant, like another tsunami off of like in Japan or something. They're like, all right, well, 2012, let's play. Let's just 2012 San Andreas. That was horrible. I feel very bad for saying that. Oh, don't cancel me. This data comes after Bloomberg acquired a list of the top 10 movies on Netflix in their first 4 weeks, with the recent Chris Hemsworth action film topping the list at 99 million views. Extract. I had a conversation with a friend this weekend. I was watching. I finally saw Triple Frontier after it being on my list for years, probably since the day it came out, because I don't watch things the day they come out, because I don't want to be part of the group. And I called that movie Extract because I thought that was Extract, because I specifically on Sunday afternoon sat down and said, all right, I got 2 hours to kill, I'm going to watch Extract. And then I clicked on Triple Frontier thinking it was Extract, and it's not. And then so the entire time I was calling it, I'm like, hey, Extract. And then we had the phone call in the middle of the movie. I was like, man, Extract is really fun. I'll watch Extract at some point. And then I sat down to watch Old Guard, and I kept calling that Extract. I'm a very boring person. Also, Netflix, it was revealed this week that in their second quarter of this year, they added 10 million subscribers, which means there are still people who don't have Netflix, which means, still. Great for Netflix, good, because I think in the last half of 2019 they were losing people, or they had stagnated, something like that. Last half of 2019, early part of 2020. So good for Netflix, truly, that this is happening. But now, what I'm thinking is, at some point, the shows and the movies are going to dry up eventually, especially if we can't get back to production. So. That's kind of why you want to get these shows back into production. The Witcher, watched by 76 million households. The Witcher 3, played by me for 30 hours. I think I'm still level 8. Something along those lines. All right, let's get into another streaming service, and this is the last thing we're going to talk about. Peacock. I want to see your peacock. Your peacock. That's a Kesha song. Peacock launched this week on Wednesday, after being out for, I believe, 2 or 3 months, only for Xfinity subscribers, Xfinity X1 and Xfinity Flex. I'm doing this all from memory. This is insane that I just said all of those words from memory. Written by Todd Spangler over at Variety, Peacock launched with 20,000 plus premium hours. But just like HBO Max and just like HBO Max, it's not on Roku or Amazon Fire TV. Peacock is NBCUniversal streaming service. You have, let's see, let me dig up my phone so I can look at this. It's a neat little service. I don't see myself paying for it. So there's 3 tiers. There's a free tier, which gives you about 13,000 hours of shows. And then there's a paid tier. There's 2 paid tiers, one that has ads and one that doesn't have ads, at $5 and $8 respectively. And no one should pay for it. But however, there are a bunch of really good shows and movies on here that are also available on 2 to 3 other services. 30 Rock and Parks and Rec are both on while I love both of those shows, are both on Amazon or Hulu or Netflix or a combination of the two. Saturday Night Live, same thing. There's even more seasons on Hulu. And you know what? And excuse me, but I thought that SNL. I thought there's going to be more SNL on here. I thought there's going to be, for CISO on NBC, CISO, rest in peace. It had mostly every single episode from the last 40 plus years when CISO was a thing. And you could watch, all the sketches and everything. But now there's only everything from 40 on, I believe. So the last 12 seasons, it's not even letting me scroll. The app is not good. So it's from season 40 up to season 45, which is this past season. And then there's one episodes, from 31-30, and it's just random one episodes from a couple seasons back. You would think that Disney Plus launched with The Simpsons. Hulu's got a lot of good shows. Netflix has a lot of good shows. Netflix has The Office. It's going to have Seinfeld. You got to have shows. Amazon Prime has Mad Men right now on IMDb free. I think it's in the best interest of NBC and NBCUniversal to have every single episode of SNL on here. They have Johnny Carson's Tonight Show, but they only have 10 seasons of it. I believe it's the last 10 seasons, and it's good. That's good because you could never stream Johnny. Like you can't, like on YouTube. You have to find like old tapes that people have. Excuse me, they have 20 seasons of Johnny Carson, but they're all random episodes from each season. Season 25, for instance, has 11 episodes, but season 21 has 5 episodes. And so I mean, I know they're old late shows and they're dependent on this stuff. They're dependent on the guests and the news of the time, but it's better if you can get a full catalog. But I understand. I know it'd be tough to get music and stuff for Carson or for the Tonight Show, for Fallon or for Leno's run, for any of that stuff, or even for SNL too. But do your darndest to get that stuff. Yeah, I said damned earlier, and I don't know why I didn't say it now. And then they also have originals, a show called Brave New World that's based on the book Brave New World, which I've read twice. And let me tell you how many books I've read twice, like 4, including Brave New World. And a Malcolm Gladwell book that I really, really liked. It's not Blink. It's a tipping point. It is Blink. I got them both mixed up in my head. I was like, no, it's definitely that one. I said that Peacock did have some free stuff, and then it also paid stuff. The paid stuff is things like Ray Donovan, which is why would Ray Donovan be on here? But Viacom, I think I mentioned this earlier in an earlier episode. I said that Viacom is going to allow other shows to live elsewhere. So that means if Ray Donovan's going to live on CBS All Access, then it can also live, or Showtime anytime, and then it can also live on another streaming platform. The Affair, another Showtime show. Everybody loves Raymond, 2.5 Men, King of Queens. But then you can watch shows with ads like Frasier. That's on every streaming platform. Frasier, 30 Rock, the movies that you watch. Chrisley Knows Best, Star Valence, Code Monkeys. Code Monkeys from G4. I had to watch an episode, and it's exactly as I remember it. Monk, things like that. It'll have ads, and they promise no more than 5 minutes of ads. So the content goes from all NBCU-owned networks, from NBC to Bravo to USA Network, MSNBC, CNBC, and the Golf Channel. Like it's crazy. Oxygen, all this sci-fi, all this stuff. I just name everything now. Golf Channel, NBCSN. It's cool how they have Dateline on there. They have like the new episodes of Chuck Todd's show, or whatever the heck he hosts. It's cool that you can watch this stuff like a day after. It's like Hulu, but for NBC shows, and you don't have to pay for cable or anything. And then also Peacock is licensed shows, blah blah blah. So when it launched, I woke up and I go. Usually, what happens on these days when a streaming platform launches, I go, oh, I got to download the streaming platform. I woke up. I'm about to work out, and I'm just trying to download the app to my phone so that when I'm eating breakfast, this means nothing to nobody. When I'm eating breakfast, I can scroll through it. It's not on the Android app store, and I go, what the heck's going on? Grab the old iPad. It's sitting there on the app store. All right, go there on. I turn on the Xbox so I can turn on the Peloton app and whatever. Not Peloton app. The Peloton app on the Chromecast. My Chromecast is on the back of the Xbox. Any Hoosers. I turn on the Xbox and it's on the Xbox. It's on the Xbox store. So it's the website's working too. It's literally on everything except the Android platform, which is the most used platform in the world. Which boggled my mind. And so basically I did my workout and I was scrolling through on the iPad and on the Xbox and signed up and put my name in there and everything. And then basically I got to work and I finally downloaded it. It was finally up. I thought that was the strangest thing. I didn't understand what was going on. And they just gave some BS about just trying to get it up and up. So speaking of 30 Rock and NBCUniversal on Peacock, multiple NBC affiliates are not going to air tonight, well, today that it's airing, the 30 Rock special, the COVID-19 special, due to all of the Peacock promos. This comes again from Tim Basinger over at The Wrap. And essentially, the crux of this article is that networks and affiliates networks. Affiliates are tired of getting the short end of the stick. If something premieres on streaming, then, or if it airs on streaming primarily, they're not going to get the money, for them, and in the affiliate, and that affects the entire affiliate company. So the fullest of stations. Oh, Tegna. Oh, that's my station. Wow. Okay, that's what I used to work for. It sucked. NBC declined to comment on the reason for the preemptions, but Vulture reported that it's over concerns the special is too focused on the new streaming service, which rolls out nationwide. You want to be able to think these should work hand in hand. For let's look at ESPN Plus for Disney. You get the ESPN I don't want to say this word, but you get the ESPN content, but then also. It's treated just like a regular ESPN streaming. It's just like the network. You're getting it. But I think in this case is that it's kind of, I think the affiliates are seeing this 30 Rock special that's supposed to act like an upfront special for Peacock and for NBCUniversal shows. And by upfront, I mean like they're trying to show what new shows are coming on Peacock and NBC, but I think they're seeing this as NBC going, hey, don't watch the affiliate, don't watch those channels, don't watch live linear TV, watch streaming. You can do whatever you want on streaming. It's gonna be a good old time. When it's not. Okay. And also, Peacock is already losing movies. Jurassic Park, The Matrix. A bunch of other movies are leaving the service within a couple of days. Same thing happened over at HBO Max. Netflix is done. Disney Plus, it's like these things launch and then movies are leaving immediately. This comes from Engadget, written by Chris Holt. It's common for movies or shows to cycle out, obviously. But hey, listen, we got a little technical difficulty. This is embarrassing. This keeps happening. Maybe I should just, I don't know. Maybe I should just have a separate camera set up. Now I can talk for as long as I want. More technical difficulties over here. Movies keep leaving the service. Movies keep leaving these streaming services. And it's the way that these contracts are set up. In the case of Peacock, it's already been out for 2 months for Comcast subscribers. And so my guess is that, they signed the contracts in April or, February and the movies are going to be on here for 3 months until it's time to re-up. But things leave streaming networks all the time, streaming platforms all the time, rather. I only call it a streaming network when it is when it's about a show or a movie that they own. like Extract. What's it called? What's the show? What's the movie? With Chris Hemsworth I was just talking about. Triple Frontier. Okay, Triple Frontier. Triple Frontier, and this is a bad episode. But if Netflix owns Triple Frontier, then I call it a network. But they don't own The Office, so I call it my platform because it's lifting The Office up. Peacock is very interesting. I like it, but I don't see myself like I've already. Listen, this is a personal thing. I pay for every other streaming net platform, and then there's also Tubi and Crackle, and you got to keep your eye on the stuff over there because sometimes Crackle has Dilbert, the show Dilbert, based on the what's it called, the comic strip. Now I watched this show live when it came out 2 decades ago. I'm still waiting for somebody to get Baby Blues, the show. God, I used to love that show. Anyway, so I mean, just and scrolling through Peacock, and the app is very easy to use. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, it is. So there's a lot of good classic movies. I really like Peacock in the same way I like HBO Max because there's a lot of good classic movies on here, like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And then, Rear Window, Vertigo, Psycho. Like they have a lot of they have Hitchcock stuff, and then they have Lone Survivor, which I've never seen. I've always meant to watch Lone Survivor by Peter Berg and Mark Wahlberg, but I never ever get a chance to sit down. But also, it's on the paid version. I'm not gonna watch it on the paid version. I'm not gonna pay for it. I'm not paying $5 to watch this. There's a lot of good movies on here. However, Peacock is very interesting in that, just like Pluto TV, which is, and if you remember, Pluto is the now Viacom CBS owned streaming platform where it's a bunch of free channels, quote unquote, that are themed. So it could be like the comedy movie channel, the action movie channel, the James Bond channel, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles channel, which I only leave it on. The IFC channel, and they have like dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of channels, and it's a really neat thing because if you just want to watch for some ungodly reason, if you just want to watch the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show and the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show, then they have that on one channel, and you can just leave it on there. And it'll just go. There's ads. There's sometimes too many ads, and you can also watch a good amount of things on demand. And NBCUniversal saw that and said, "Let's implement this into our app." And so now we have an NBC News Now channel, a Today channel that has. Sorry, my volume was up. My Today channel that has news stories from all day, and it's a 24/7 channel. There's a channel about The Office, but it's only like The Office shorts. I assume when they're going to get The Office in 2021, so I can only assume The Office shorts channel is going to become just The Office channel. Keeping Up with the Kardashians, there's a Fallon channel, there's a Myers channel, there's a lot of channels that you can just scroll through. There's a poker channel. I Love Ginny. I Love Ginny? Anyway, there's a lot of good channels on here, and a Comedy Dynamics channel. Wow, I like Comedy Dynamics. I talk to a lot of people from there that are represented by Comedy Dynamics, or that are putting stuff with that Comedy Dynamics. So I think that's a really interesting move for people who are just who just want to put something on, and they can see that Pluto is doing really well because it's free, and it's important that you can access this stuff for free. And then also something else that differentiates it from everybody else is the news aspect, like I was talking about earlier. You got Nightly News with Lester Holt. You got Sunday Today. And again, Meet the Press with Chuck Todd. These are shows and movies and things you can watch, or documentaries, shows and documentaries in the news section that you can watch without having a cable channel without having a cable sign up subscription. There's a Morning Joe playlist. Okay. I get it. Squawk on the Street playlist. I love Squawk on the Street. I was at the dentist a couple of weeks ago, and they gave me the remote. There's TVs in every dentist room now, apparently. And they gave me the remote, and I turned it on Squawk on the Street because that's what I like to watch in the morning. That or CBS This Morning. Other than that, nothing. And then, very interesting, there is a sports channel that has... it's going to have Premier League as that goes on. It's going to have I don't know, maybe football when that starts back up. I don't know, but it's great. And then obviously the Olympic stuff when that starts back up. And then there's a Latino section, specifically a Latino section where there's Telemundo stuff as well as Spanish versions of some of the movies and shows that are on here, like Shrek and some of the crappier things, Blair Witch Project and The Birds. It's really interesting. I love that. I love that idea. That's very inclusive, very inclusive of them. So Peacock exists for a reason. We're just not sure yet. Where I was thinking about this earlier this week, Disney Plus doesn't have to exist, but where it does offer up the full catalog of The Simpsons, which we on Hulu. Well, full catalog of The Simpsons. It did bring about Hamilton to the masses. It did bring shows like Bonkers and That's So Raven that probably would, well, Bonkers, I know for a fact, would not survive on any other streaming platform. And even Disney's Doug, which you couldn't stream prior, I believe. Hold on, let me double check. I don't know if Disney's Doug is on Disney Plus. Because if it is, then you can watch the whole Doug series, one on Netflix, one on Hulu, and then one on Disney Plus. DOUG. You got Doug. You got Disney's Doug is on here. And Doug's first movie. If you don't know the difference between Disney's Doug and Nickelodeon Doug. Nickelodeon Doug, he was still in elementary school or middle school, something like that. And then Disney's Doug, it aired on ABC, I believe, on Saturday mornings, and this is when it was like a year later, and he's in 8th grade or 9th grade or something like that. And everybody had cool new designs. It was really wicked fresh. So that's Disney's Doug. And then Doug's first movies where he told Patty Mayonnaise that he liked her, and they helped out that swamp monster. Listen, I was horrible in school. I charmed my way through. But if you want to know anything about some obscure television show from the last 27 years, then I got you, baby. But Peacock, so Disney Plus exists in a space where it's offering something up. Let's go to HBO Max. HBO Max is doing the same exact thing. It's got the HBO stuff as well as things that probably would die on other streaming services. The Alienist, Search Party, Uncle Grandpa, I don't know. I had to choose something else. Things that would not have life if they were buried somewhere else. But if they're buried in HBO and someone discovers that stuff, then, and it's already, Warner Media content. God, I can't believe I said that. There's two main problems with this. With NBC Universal releasing Peacock, they're adding to the notion that all parent companies need to own their own stuff. But with Viacom CBS, to counter that, Viacom CBS is coming out with the newer version of CBS All Access in a couple of months, and they're going to say, listen, if you want Ray Donovan, if you want anything but Star Trek, anything but the Twilight Zone, you can have it. But we're also going to have it too, and we're going to have our own stuff. And then the NBC Universal Peacock has nothing really to offer the world, except for the freeness version of it. But as long as they can have free, as long as they have eyeballs, I think 20 million people downloaded it in its first day. So as long as it has eyeballs, then and 20 million people, I'm 3. Xbox, phone, iPad. It's on 3 of my things. So really, 19,999,997 people downloaded it. So we'll see. We'll see where this thing lands. I'm going to continue using it. I mean, it's a competent app. I think, with the let's compare the Peacock to Quibi, and I know this is completely unfair, but when Quibi launched and it kind of just nosedived, especially having this, it's short form video, and I know I only signed up just to see what it was like and to flipping and stuff. That's me flipping it. And then after Reno 911 aired, I just thought, okay, why would I need Quibi? Because I don't want to watch anything else on there. And Flipped, I watched Flip too. But Quibi doesn't have a use case beyond the phone. Well, prior to it having AirPlay and casting, prior to that, it didn't have a use case because nobody was out. And even still, I mean, just watching things on the phone, period, is just garbage. I know if I ever start watching something on my phone, I immediately go, why am I doing this? And then, I move it to a bigger screen. That's what makes sense in this. But for Peacock, it came out with an app that works. It's you can cast or AirPlay from it immediately. The free stuff worked. You make your watch list and it's free. You don't have to worry about dropping $5 just yet. Even their original shows you can watch without paying for it. You can watch them with ads. Brave New World, I believe, you can watch the first couple episodes without having to pay. That's the Disney Plus app. That's the camera app that accidentally opened up. I think all of Brave New World is up, but I'm not entirely sure. Also, I don't feel like watching anything else. Only 2 episodes are up. So we'll see where Peacock is in a couple of months. I do believe that unlike CISO, NBCUniversal will get behind this in a way that is supportive. For CISO, I think CISO was around for 18 months and they came out guns a-blazing. CISO was the comedy streaming platform, and you can watch your Parks and Rec and 30 Rock and SNL and a bajillion-dollar properties and all these other Flowers, all these other great shows, and then it's $5 a month, and that's a very cheap price, and that's kind of, I think that's the basis of what they use for Peacock. And then you get to this point where they're not putting anything on there. They're not really talking about it. You only see ads for it. And then I think the heads, the people were like leaving, the execs were leaving left and right. And there's basically like one person at the end of the day doing holding it down. So I think them seeing, first of all, it being an umbrella app holding everything under the NBCUniversal umbrella, much like HBO Max, them seeing Netflix and HBO and CBS and Hulu and Disney Plus and all the other 2 streaming platforms that are doing well, them seeing that, I believe, is a way for them to not want to stop doing this. So I mean, compared to just looking at the video apps I have on my phone, I mean, they're not gonna be competing anytime soon with Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, or Disney Plus, or even HBO Max. But I don't think that's the point. I think much like HBO Max, who was it? Not John Legere. That's the FX guy. The HBO Max, the HBO CEO. He went before it launched, like a week before it launched. He was saying that HBO Max is supposed to be complementary to Disney Plus. They're not worried about fighting each other. I can see Peacock being in this same vein. Same thing with CBS All Access, because I believe that there's an ad tier on that one as well. So yeah, I mean, good for NBCUniversal. I really came around on this as I was talking this out. Listen, we got to go. If you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where there's interviews with famous comedians. If you want to see a video version of the show, head to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. There's also the show News Time, where I take one story and I dissect it, like The Daily Show, Last Week Tonight, all those other shows. This week's episode is about Lady A, Antebellum, versus Lady A, the blues singer. I break down the legal dispute over the name, and you know what? It might change your mind based on who you support, or if you support nobody, you might still be that way. You see what happens. It's a really good episode. Check it out. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram at C+ Comedy. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram at ChadBlackWhite. To like us on Facebook, rate, review on every podcast platform that you like. This is the end. I'm done. I gotta go because the camera is running out of time. Goodbye.